Weekly feed, Kyle, Meredith, Jake, Bugg. Welcome to ACL Festival, I guess.
Thank you very much.
And good morning to you.
Afternoon, but yeah, it does feel like the morning.
Yeah. Man, it has been kind of amazing to see the whole story that's happened to you over the past few years. From sitting at home to suddenly you're playing the big stages here at the festivals.
Well, still a long way to go, but yeah, it's certainly been great to come over here and have the opportunity to play my music to people on the other side of the world. It's nice.
Well, with the way it worked with you, though, I mean, there's kind of a gap between when things took off for you in the UK and when they finally took off for you in the US, because in the US you're still a lot newer to us than you were over there, even though we're really only talking about what, a 4 or 5 year span altogether here anyway.
Yeah.
But I mean, it just kind of happened in the past year and a half here in the US, and now you're already getting ready for this next record after you just broke over here. Is there any frustration behind that it all doesn't kind of move at the same pace?
Not really, man. I mean, because well, the record's actually coming out everywhere. The new one's coming out everywhere now, all over the world, which will be cool. But it's nice, to have that feeling of starting over again and to come to a place where no one knows who you are, and the venues are a little bit smaller, and you get to relive that, and it's great, man. Because the journey, they say, is the best bit. Yeah. So yeah, this is my first headline tour I've been doing over here, and it's been great, and met a lot of great people, and went to a lot of great places. So I can't wait to come back.
Have you figured out the game yet? Because you were kind of learning on your feet through a lot of this. At the beginning, once again, it seemed like it happened so quick when it finally took off.
Well,
I mean, like, you've had to deal with paparazzi and everything else, and I think that there's something about figuring it all out in the public eye.
Well, I'm not someone that, I don't particularly enjoy having my picture taken, but it's great that, people want to, give you their attention and, are interested in what you're doing, and that's cool. But I mean, at the same time, I don't really read my own reviews. I'll probably never watch this interview, and because I've just got to play my shows and write my songs, and and try and enjoy it.
So then jumping onto the second record, and maybe I guess it's not so quick for you because those first songs, had already lived for a little bit. But was there a sense of, I don't need to wait another year or two to capture the lightning, or because I know when you play those songs over and over and over, you start to lose a little bit of the love behind it that was maybe originally there.
Well, I mean, you would think so, but for me, I always put myself in I always think back to the time or where I was when I wrote that song and how I felt, and help to get those emotions back through playing the song. And I won't just ever play it backstage, or I'll only play it when I'm on there and people want to hear it. But you've got to play it like it's the first time you ever played it.
Something about acting that goes along with that. Like, suddenly you're not just a musician, you're an actor too.
Well, I don't feel like I'm acting though. I tried acting the other day. That was quite interesting. Yeah, I don't think I was very good. But
it's harder than it looks.
You do like I was talking. Like I said before, we started the interview, that you just have to tell yourself how lucky you are every day, and if it means playing the same song you've played 1,000 times, then you're going to do it, and if you're going to do it, then you might as well try and enjoy it. Yeah. And I just came up with this next album, not because I felt like I had to or there was pressure coming from anywhere else. I just had this load of songs that I'd written on the road and got in the studio, and there it was.
Now with sound, the way it goes, I know a lot of journalists, it's very easy for them to peg you like, okay, he does this kind of sound and he's looking back at this era. Does the second album try to dispel any of that, or does it even matter?
I don't think it really matters, man. I'm just doing what I do like I was on the first album. I just had a load of songs, and people always make comments, and some will be nice and some will be not so nice, but I just write me tunes, and if people want to listen to them, great. If not, then you don't listen to them. Then I'm not bothered.
You did some co-writing too, right?
Yeah, man. I did a bit of writing with my mate Ian Archer on this album, and I mean, when I first got signed, I was a bit sceptical of working with co-writers. It can be quite defensive as an artist, I think.
Because you're kind of giving up something in that.
Yeah, definitely, and you're like, well, what's wrong with my songwriting? But then I thought, at the time I was 17, and these guys are much more experienced than I am, and I could probably learn a lot and, develop my own craft even further. And so I did a bit more co-writing in this album, and just because I had a load of ideas, and sometimes you know, it's interesting to get someone else's initial opinion, because I think you get lost in the song, and you know, half an idea to you could become a full idea when that's not the case. But you know, in the future, I hope to take all I've learned and you know, get to the point where I don't you know, necessarily need to write.
Well, I guess it's interesting because usually when you hear of co-writers, it's really just it's a lot of bland pop, country music. You know, that whole industry is co-writing, and I'm really not trying to put it down too much. I mean, everybody's got their thing. But with you, like, the music is different, and it almost seemed like it would be really hard for someone else to come into your style of music, because there is, you know, for what it is, whatever it is, might be, there is a bit of a retro look to it, and for co-writers, it's always about, let's just get to a good hook, I guess, in my mind.
Yeah, definitely, yeah, that usually is the case, but I mean, I went down to Nashville when I went into the studio with a couple people, and they're like, they'll play a track that's got drums, bass, guitars on it, more or less the whole song. They're like, yeah, sing a melody on this. I'm like, no, mate, that's not going to happen. Let's pick up some guitars and we'll see what happens, because I will never sing a song that I feel doesn't mean anything to me. It has to be my idea, and it has to be, you know, it has to come from me. And you know, I might need someone's opinion just to get. So, for example, Ian Archer I wrote with, for every 2 ideas I'll have, he'll tell me which he thinks is the best one. And it's good to have someone like that.
Kind of refreshing to hear that style, that part of the industry working in that way.
Yeah, and it's, you know, it's well, like I wrote a song with Matt Sweeney who played guitar for me on this album, and it's not a case that, you know, if someone, like, sometimes you get artists going, yeah, we should do a collab together, we should get in the studio. I'm like, well, I don't really work like that. It's like, if I just happen to be around and I pop in and, you know, you stick the kettle on and you pick up the guitars, and if a song comes, it's great. And if not, then we had a fun time jamming. I'll see you later.
And you spent some time in LA on this one, right?
Yeah, I was in Malibu.
I know a lot of the artists who right there will start to get. Let's look back again. So if your first record did have a bit of that 50s, you know, style of vibe, are you finding that the 60s Laurel Canyon style seeped in on this one any?
A little bit. This one's got a bit more of a 70s feeling.
70s. So you're just jumping right into the 70s LA.
Because I've been listening to I was listening to a lot of like Nick Drake, John Martin, and Neil Young and stuff. Yeah. And you know, subconsciously it just seems to have happened, and it's the band's old studio from the 1970s.
That's awesome.
So it seems to be kind of a 90s, 70s theme going on. But
all the ghosts kind of roaming around inside the studio.
Yeah, maybe. But it was a great atmosphere, and it really felt like, for me, being on the road so much and flying everywhere, and just to be in the studio again and putting music down was just great to do again.
Yeah, places like LA, and I'm from Kentucky. I've read you kind of had something, you know, there's romantic images of the U.S. before you came here, and I think at, you know, such a great time of songwriting when you started, you must have had kind of that romantic image of all these places and the musicians that went along with them.
Yeah, definitely, man. I mean, I have a lot of influences that have come from here, and so I think back home, like, we have a lot of great bands, and we have some good singer-songwriters as well. But I think over here, for me, it was all about the singer-songwriters and stuff, and you know, places like, you know, Texas, I always wanted to come to. And
I mean, you have all this image in your head, and you get to these places. Does it kind of live up to what you've made it up to be?
Yeah, it does. Weirdly enough, it actually does, which is great.
Yeah.
And when you see it, and you're on the tour bus, and it's everything I hoped it would be, and I hope I can continue to write songs that people enjoy over here, so I have the opportunity to come back. I don't have a huge aspiration to try and be enormously big or try and break it, because I think you can get lost in that.
This isn't the U2 move where you do the American album so you can conquer America.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I just want to play shows, and if people want to come along, great.
Well, Jake, it's great to see you through all this, and look forward to this new record.
Cheers, man. Thank you very much.
Good to see you.
Nice one, pal.